Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Before It Hits the Shelf. Today, I have quite a variety of books to share with you, including a sneak peek at my next Chapter 1 read aloud. So, the first book I wanted to share with you is actually a graphic novel from the same author of the book Allergic, which is also a graphic novel. Excellent book. This one, however, is a touch different. 11-year-old Avery Lee loves living in Hickory Valley, Maryland. She loves her neighborhood, school, and the end of summer fair she always goes to with her two best friends. But she's tired of feeling squished by her 6 siblings. They're noisy and chaotic, and the younger kids love her a little too much. All Avery wants is her own room, her own space to be alone and make art. So she's furious when Theo, her grumpy older brother, gets his own room instead, and her wild baby brother Max moves into the room she already shares with her clinging sister Pearl. Avery hatches a plan to finally get her own room, all while trying to get Max to sleep at night, navigating changes in her friendships and working on an art entry for the fair. And when Avery finds out that her family might move across the country, things get even more complicated. So once again, same author of the book Allergic, which is a super fun graphic novel. This is the book Squished. The next one is in our library under realistic fiction, but it's kind of science fiction-y in a sense. This is called The Half-Life of Love. He's known exactly when he's going to die since he was 8 years old and half-lifed, a small twinge that tells a person when they've lived half their life. From that moment, Flint's done everything he can do to make his death more bearable, cutting off all his friends, refusing to eat his favorite foods, reading only the most depressing literature by long-dead writers. He plans to spend his final days back in his hometown with his parents, quietly waiting to die. But then he meets September Harrington, an utter explosion of brilliance and fun, and all his plans fly out the window. September has dedicated herself to curing the half-life, landing a coveted internship at the world-renowned Half-Life Institute. She has her own past that she's refusing to deal with, choosing instead to spend her nights living it up with her friends and her days deep in the lab where she's working to find a cure. When their worlds collide, it feels like the start of an epic, once-in-a-lifetime love. Only Flint can bring himself to tell September he's dying, and September's keeping secrets too. The closer they get, the less time they have together, and the more their secrets threaten to destroy everything. Can September and Flint save each other, and are their days numbered from the start? So, if you're a fan of They Both Die in the End, you will most certainly love this lovely romance, The Half-Life of Love. Next, we have a fantasy book. This is the first book in the series. The second book is coming out soon, so this is the first book, The Legends of Lotus Island. On an island like no other, an incredible adventure begins. Young Plum is shocked to discover that she's been accepted to the Guardian Academy of Lotus Island, an elite school where kids learn how to transform into guardians, magical creatures who are sworn to protect the natural world. The Guardian Masters teach Plum and her friends how to communicate with animals and how to use meditation to strengthen their minds and bodies. The kids also learn to fight so they can protect the defenseless if needed. To her dismay, Plum struggles at school. While her classmates begin to transform into amazing creatures, Plum can't even seem to imagine up a single feather. If she can't embrace her inner animal form soon, she'll have to leave school and lose the first group of real friends she's ever known. So once again, this is going to be a series book. The next book is coming out soon, but this is the first book. And another book from an author that we already have here in the library. We have The Do-Over, and now this is The Win-Over. Another realistic fiction. Raquel, Lucinda, and Juliet are finally starting to feel like sisters. Now they've got to make it official. Raquel and Lucinda's dad, Marcos, and Juliet's mom, Sylvia, are getting married in Mexico. But when they arrive, they find bringing together the two families won't be as easy as they had hoped. Sylvia's favorite aunt does not approve of the match. Raquel, Lucinda, and Juliet know just what to do. If they can somehow show Tia Enriqueta that their parents are meant to be together, the rest of the family will have to support the wedding. But in all their scheming, doubt starts to creep in. The sisters start to wonder if they can really trust one another. Suddenly, they have to ask themselves, are they better off apart than after all? So once again, author of the book The Do-Over. This is the newest one, The Win-Over. And last but certainly not least, a sneak preview for the chapter 1 read aloud for this week is The Boy in the White Room. This is also science fiction. Imagination is the only weapon in the war against reality. A 15-year-old boy wakes to find himself locked in a white cube-shaped room. No windows, no doors, total silence. He has no memories, no clue how he got there, no idea who he is. A computer-generated voice named Alice responds to his questions. Through her, he is able to access the internet. But as the boy uncovers snippets of his story, an attempted abduction, a critical injury, a murder, it becomes clearer. And yet, some of the pieces still don't fit. How can he tell what's real and what's not? Who can he trust? And who is he really? So that is The Boy in the White Room. You can look out for this chapter 1 read aloud this week, another science fiction book. That is it for today. Enjoy that before it hits the shelf, and we'll see you in the library.